Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Prestige Martial Arts Town Hall meeting. It is August 27th, and a lot of kids go back to school next week. So we want to get you some ideas and get your questions answered that you might have about this new virtual training. I had a call with Ofer Breyer today, my coach that is working a lot on the Dojo Genius and Brain games. So we've got some late additions here that I don't have on my slides, but we do have slides. So I wanted to share my screen here so that we can follow along with that very well. So what we've got, again, August 27th, going through, that's a picture of Jaden, one of our awesome black belt candidates, and showing his extreme confidence that he has. And so those are a lot of the things that we like to work on with the kids. Is we talk about martial arts, the way that we teach it is lifestyle training. And so the way that the kids are learning are not just the punch and kicks. We really don't care about their side kick. We don't really care about their forms or what they can memorize. We want to be able to show them improving their general lifestyle with confidence, listening skills, and leadership. So lots of great things like that. So our agenda for today is we've got 3 layers of the brain. This is a new skill that we just learned from Ofer and talking about how kids learn and what's going to be important to them. The structure for your child, we talked a little bit last week about developing the structure. And then preparing for school. Are you guys all set? Are you mostly set? Or is your hair on fire and you're just panicking? All right, either way, we're going to make sure that we give you a little bit more help and tips. Asking better questions. We're going to be addressing the all-time favorite, how was your day today? Good. And then no more conversations. So we're going to be able to ask better questions so that you get better answers. And then we're going to discuss Zoom etiquette. So some of you guys are brand new with the technology, and there's lots of little things going on with Zoom and a lot of the other things that are going to be required to get into a classroom. And for example, we had a student, Jaden, as a matter of fact, on the front screen, was trying to speak in class for about 2 weeks, and we could never get his microphone to work. So it just took about 2 minutes, and I walked him through settings, and we took care of that for him so that he was all set to go. So if you do have any struggles with technology, feel free to reach out, let me know, and I'm happy to troubleshoot some of the stuff because I know how frustrating it can be when things don't work. And then finally, if you guys have questions, I will have answers. And again, they're going to be my opinion. They're going to be my thoughts on what I think will work best. Doesn't mean that you think that they will. Doesn't mean that you have to follow them. But you're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't. And if you do, hopefully you get some great results. So, jumping right in. The 3 layers of the brain. What we worked on with Ofer in the Dojo Genius training was discovering that there's the 3 layers that the kids learn from. And ultimately, finding out how your child learns is going to get you the best results in the long run. So the first layer is going to be sensory. And so as the kids are first experiencing things, it's going to be what they see, what they hear, what they touch, feel, and all of that. So what we found, for example, is Ofer was talking to us today about notice that video games do not come with instructions. Your child doesn't want to be told how to play the video game. They want to sit down, they want to open up the game, they want to start pushing buttons and playing, and they figure things out. Within a matter of minutes, they're able to play the game, and then as they play more, they're able to play even better. So the struggle that parents or that kids run into or the parents are getting frustrated about is they don't apply that same process in school. Right? School wants you to sit and listen to the instructions. This is what you need to do. This is how things are supposed to go. And kids don't want to be told. They want to experience it. So you want to be able to develop that sensory process as much as possible. That's going to be one of the challenges with this new virtual training that a lot of people are going to face. When your child is in virtual class, think about how are you going to develop the sensory experience for them. All right, the second one is called the mom's voice. And to be politically correct, it's actually the parent's voice. But since I am using Ofer's program, I will use his language, and it's called the mom's voice. And this is basically the second layer of education and learning where things get a little bit deeper, and it's pretty much all of the mindset of what did your parents always tell you? So we discussed things like money is the root of all evil. If you grew up thinking that, if you grew up being told that, you probably have a feeling now that earning a lot of money is bad, right? But if we program that mom's voice in a positive way, right? The example that I gave over tattling on my mom, because I can, she's not here, right? My mom growing up all the time started to tell us, and I'm not really tattling on her because we talked about this a couple weeks ago. She always grew up, and whenever it was time to go see grandma, right, her line was always, well, your grandma's not going to live forever, so it's important that we go. And you know what? She was absolutely correct. Nobody lives forever. Unfortunately, for that statement, my grandma lived until about 92, which was spectacular. My mom started saying that when she was 75. So for 14 years, we kept hearing, you have to go see grandma because she's not going to be around forever. And so that, to this day, still is in the back of my head and plays on some of my experience and my beliefs and things. So what things are you telling your child, right? Wow, that was a great job. I'm really proud of how you did that. That was fantastic. Whatever thing you are saying to your child now is going to be programmed in their brain forever. So you want to keep that in mind as you're working, especially in school, and things can be difficult and you can get frustrated, right? If you start, technology is stupid. This classroom is dumb. If you start throwing out negatives, your child is going to record that in their brain, and then they're going to have to battle that the rest of their life. So again, be careful what messages you're programming into your child's brain. Level 3 is the deepest layer, and that's the ego. And so making sure the ego gets put in check, and a lot of times it's not. This is definitely something that comes with maturity. So you're going to see kids in their teenage years, try and exert a lot of ego. Millennials, kids in their 20s and even 30s, really want to tell you how much they know and how important they are. And look, an example you should see at young age is when you're 4 or 5-year-old. What do they say all the time? Mom, look what I can do. Right? Look at me, look at me. And they want to show you all that. And at 4 or 5, it's cute. At 25, it's not so cute. So we want to be able to make sure that, again, the mom's voice is programming the ego to have better experiences. So it's not about you. It's about what is best for your learning process, right? So you go to school to learn. You don't go to school to ace the test and say, look how smart I am. I got A's on everything. And so we could spend hours and hours talking about the ego. But again, this is just kind of an overview of those 3 layers. Right now, with you hearing this probably for the first time, the main emphasis is going to be on sensory. How can you make the school experience sensory for your child, especially with it being virtual? And your mom's voice, parent's voice, what are you programming your child to believe as they grow up? All right, we talked about last week, creating structure for your child, different aspects. I think we may have hit on some of these that we talked about already, but where is their classroom? If the kids know, when I'm sitting here, then I'm in school, their mind is going to be able to adjust a little bit better because they don't have that physical classroom at school where they know this is my learning place. So you have to retrain that, especially now with virtual school. What supplies do they need? Do you have everything within reach of what they need?
We got all of Ronan's information now in Schoology.
Yeah. So that you don't have to basically find different things and switch over. And then what are your rules, right? What is it? When can they get up and get a drink? When can they go grab food? Is it a free-for-all? It certainly shouldn't be because it's not at school. The ultimate goal is you want to create your home virtual school as close as you can to what it would be at school, right? They have snack time, they have recess, or they have lunch. Those are the structured times that you're allowed to get it. I'm sure, I would imagine, sorry, I don't know for sure, but I imagine your school is going to have those same structured times in place that you're going to be able to work on and figure out. And then finally, one of the best things that you can start working on when we talk about, and we'll go a little bit deeper into it, about asking better questions, before school starts, ask them, what are you most excited to learn today? Get them thinking about the school day before school starts. Don't wake them up 5 minutes before class time. Let them roll out of bed, sit down in the chair, and expect them to just snap and start learning in class. They're going to need that time to adjust. Every child's different. They might need 15, 20 minutes. They might need an hour. So experiment with what works best for your child, but pre-frame is what it's called. You're pre-framing them for school with, what are you most excited to learn today? And start asking those questions. And then finally, at the end of the day, you would ask, well, what did you like most? And we'll get a little bit deeper into this as well. So preparing for school, right? As we just talked about, what time are you going to get them up? So how much time do they need to get mentally and physically prepared to start school, right? What do they need to do? What's the process for getting ready? Do they shower in the morning, or do they shower before they go to bed? All right, you still need to eat breakfast. You need to brush your teeth. Whatever your routine is, make sure your child knows all of the steps, and more importantly, how long it takes them to do those things so that they can be prepared. Right? I've heard time and time again of the kids wake up late, they roll out of bed, they're rushing to the bus stop because they don't want to miss the bus, so they forgot their backpack, so the parents going to school. All of that extra chaos isn't necessary if you create a general structure for everything that needs to be done in the morning. All right, what time does your school start? They need to know, your child needs to know, what time does school start? So that way, they can look at the clock and they can be responsible for being ready also. It's not going to happen right away, but by the time your child's in middle school, they should be able to know, you know what, school starts at whatever, 8 o'clock. I need to be ready by 7:50, so I need to be up at this time, and they can start working their way backwards is one of the skills that we teach our leadership team, right? If I need to be where I need to be at 8 a.m., then I need to do, work my way back of, okay, well, I need to take a shower, I need to get dressed, I need drive time, I need to eat breakfast, whatever else. So that means I need to wake up at this time, right? And then finally, what do you do to help them prepare mentally for school? Again, asking those questions. What are you most excited about? What is your drill? There's neurobics drills where you've seen me do them in the karate class if you're a student, where we'll talk about, all right, instead of counting 1 to 10, give me 10 colors, or name 10 fruits. Give me 10 states in the United States. You can do anything you want to wake their brain up, and basically the equivalent of jumping jacks, they're mental jumping jacks. And again, it's called neurobics, to make sure that your child's mentally prepared for school. So we want to talk about asking better questions. And so again, the worst question you could ever ask was, how was your day? Fine, right? It doesn't elicit any thinking, and every parent, you all know, you get that answer back. Unless, on the rare occasion, you have a chatty Cathy that wants to tell you about everything that happened in their day, and that can obviously be a burden on the other side, because it's going to take them 45 to 50 minutes to explain everything that happened. So here are some specifics that you can start to ask to really train your child to think about what happened during the day. What was the best action that you took today? How did that make you feel? And what lesson did you learn? Now, if you're a black belt candidate, these questions probably look familiar, because these are the 3 standard questions that Ofer gives us working with children so that they can take ownership of their actions. So what was the best thing that you did today? Right? And then how did it make you feel doing that? Great. And now what lesson did you learn from it, or how are you going to use that information? You can ask these 3 questions about anything in your child's life, and it's going to help them internalize and develop better habits as they grow older. So now if you want others so that you don't always are using that same exact one, you can say, well, what was your happiest moment? Right? What was your unhappiest moment today? What was the most exciting moment? Start to use those adjectives, because then your child, guess what? What was your happiest moment today? Fine. That doesn't work. They can't say that, right? With these questions, they require thinking and they require a response. Now, be prepared the first several times you do this, the response is going to be, I don't know. Don't give up. Right? You're basically in a battle of wits at the moment, and you never want to let your child win. Right? What was your happiest moment today? I don't know. Okay, well, think about it. What made you happy today? I don't know. Well, something had to happen today that you were happiest about. I don't know. Okay, well then give me anything that happened today. And you just keep working with it. But the idea is after a few weeks, you'll notice everybody that's done this with their child says in about 2 to 3 weeks, the conversations start getting better. And that's ultimately what you're looking for, is the long-term benefit. So dig your heels in. Don't accept fine for your school day, and don't accept I don't know for a general answer. All right, real quick, I want to cover some Zoom etiquette. Some of you are becoming experts at Zoom very quickly because you're forced to. Some people have used Zoom for years, and some people are frustrated and lost with Zoom. So what you want to do is you always want to make sure that you're on mute. And there's a little microphone in the bottom left corner of your screen. It should always be red with a slash through it. Right? That way you know no matter what happens in the background, you're not going to interrupt the class or the meeting that's going on. Now, a really cool shortcut, if you're sophisticated and want to be a little bit tricky, depending on the settings on your computer, if you push the space bar, it will unmute you so you can speak. And then when you release the space bar, it will put you back on mute. Otherwise, you can just click on it and it will unmute you and then remute yourself. But in every single Zoom meeting that I've been in the last 5 months with adults, people still don't mute. Right? And every single meeting, somebody says, please mute yourself. We can hear blah, 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 blah. Right? So ultimately, don't be that person. Good Zoom etiquette means always put yourself on mute. All right, another one is raising your little blue hand. Again, I imagine schools are going to have a process. I would imagine this is the process because it's built in to Zoom, but I don't know that for a fact. You guys can let me know if they're doing something different. But instead of waving at the screen and jumping up and down and then putting your nose right in the camera, which is what the kids like to do, if you open up participants, you'll see a little hand next to your name. And if you push it, it turns blue, and then it tells whoever's hosting the meeting that you've raised your hand. Then they can call on you, and then you can answer your question, and then you've got the teacher's undivided attention. If you were in our belt ceremony, that's exactly the process that I used. Everybody that wanted to talk pushed their hand, raised their hand up, and we were able to have each person speak one at a time, and it made it very organized. And it was an awesome belt ceremony, by the way. And then, next one, sit and listen just like you are in school. Your physical state affects your mental state. So I've noticed a couple times in karate classes, you know, the kids are sitting down on furniture. They're laying down on the floor. And those aren't the positions that we do karate in. And it's not the position you want to teach yourself to learn in. So they should be sitting just like they would if they were at school, and they should be actively listening just like they were at school. But again, parents, this is going to take some supervision because this is a new frontier for your child. They haven't had to learn at home before, so they're going to try things out. They're going to experiment. Well, when I'm at home, this is how I sit. This is how I lay down. Well, you're in home, but you're not home right now. You're at school. So making that difference is going to take some adjusting for your child. All right? Well, there you have everything that I wanted to cover today. That was a good 20 minutes of information. We're going to open it up for Q&A here. So I'm going to stop the recording, and we will see what you guys have for us. Zoop.